You are welcome to the GMAT 41's mathematics class. In our class today, I'll be teaching you lowest common multiple and highest common factors, part 1. At the end of the class, you would have come to learn about lowest common multiple, what it is, highest common factors, and how we can solve and obtain the lowest common multiples of two or more numbers and the highest common multiples of two or more numbers. First, what is LCM, lowest common multiple of two or more numbers? So I have the explanation here on the board. The lowest common multiple of two or more numbers is the smallest number, the lowest number that the two or more numbers can divide without leaving a remainder. For example, if I give you 2 and 3 and I ask you what's the LCM of 2 and 3, all you need to do is to find out the lowest number that 2 can divide, and 3 can also divide that number without any remainder. That number will become the LCM, the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3. Apart from saying that lowest common multiple is the smallest number that two or more numbers can divide without remainder, we can also look at lowest common multiple in another way. Alright, here on the board we have this. The first lowest number which occurs as a multiple of two or more numbers is said to be the lowest common multiple of these two or more numbers. Once again, the first lowest number that occurs as a multiple of two or more numbers is also known as the LCM of these two or more numbers. I have this example quickly on the board that I'm going to use in explaining to you better the idea of lowest common multiple. On the board here, we have this example. Okay, this multiplication table of 2 times and this one of 3 times, just a little extract. You know, the GMAT 41 has always told you about how important your multiplication is. I want to believe that by now you have worked on your multiplication table very well and memorized them as much as you can. In our previous class, I taught you about rules of divisibility. The knowledge of multiplication still helps us to understand these rules better. You know, like I told you in past classes, without multiplication, I wonder how you can survive division. It really would not be possible. So please, make sure you practice your multiplication table regularly. Alright, now we have this example here. We're trying to find out the LCM of 2 and 3. So as to help us understand the real meaning of LCM, lowest common multiple of two or more numbers. In 2 times table, if you do 2 times 1, you get 2. 2 times 2, you get 4. 2 times 3 will give you 6. 2 times 4 will give you 8. 2 times 5 will give you 10. 2 times 6 will give you 12. I decided to stop at 2 times 6. You know that this is simply the first multiple of 2, will give you 2. Then this is the second multiple of 2. The third multiple of 2 is 6. The fourth multiple of 2 is 8. The fifth multiple of 2 is 10. The sixth multiple of 2 is 12. Alright, let us visit 3 times table and see. The first multiple of 3, which is 3 times 1, will give us what? 3. The second multiple of 3, which is 3 times 2, will give us 6. Look at the third multiple of 3, which is 3 times 3, you get 9. 9 is the third multiple. What about the fourth multiple of 3? To give us 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Now I want you to look at this line I drew here with 2 arrowheads. 2 times 3, that is the third multiple of 2, give us what? 6. 3 times 2, that is the second multiple of 3, also give us what? 6. If you look at the numbers above in 2 times table, we have 2, we have 4 here. In 3 times table, the number above 6 here is 3. You will notice that when you move on to 2 times table and you start working on 2 times table down, and you also work on 3 times table down, the first number that you would see as a multiple of 2 and also as a multiple of 3, that first number is 6. When you're reading down here, you see you have 6 here, and you come to 3 times table, you also have that 6. So 6 is the first lowest number that is a multiple of 2 and also a multiple of 3. We can say that 6 is the first lowest number, which if you go to 2 times table, you will see that 6 there. If you go to 3 times table, you'll also see that 6. Now if you move down, you notice something, another number that is common that you can see in 2 times table and also in 3 times table, which is also a multiple of 2 and 3, is 12. That's the next one you would see, which is in 2 and also in what? 3. 12 is another common number. But let me ask you, 6 is a common number, a common multiple in 2 and 3. 12 is also a common multiple in 2 and 3. But which one of the two, 6 and 12, is lowest? 6 is lower than 12. Therefore, 6 becomes the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3. If you continue still, you will still meet another common multiple. But that common multiple will be greater, will be bigger than 6. Remember, we say that lowest common multiple is that smallest number, which 2 or more numbers can divide without remainder. So here 6 is the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3. It means that 2 can divide 6 without remainder, 3 can also divide 6 without remainder. Let me ask you this question. What if I ask you the LCM of 2, 3, and 4? It means you have to also think about 4 times table. If you go to 4 times table and do 4 times 1, you get 4. 4 times 2, you get 8. 4 times 3 will give you 12. Now when you compare 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times, you will notice that the first smallest number that is common to 2, common to 3, and common to 4 will be 12 in that case. 6 will no longer be the common multiple because in 4 times table, 6 is not there. You cannot do 4 times any number to get 6. So if I am to include 4 here, say, okay, the LCM of 2, 3, and 4, the lowest common multiple there will now give us 12. So that's the whole idea about LCM. Now, does it mean that if a question is given to you, maybe I ask you to find the LCM of 20 and 35, you will now start doing 20 times table and 35 times table. Is that what you would do to get your LCM? The answer is no. And that is what I'm going to teach you. How you can easily get the LCM of 2 or more numbers. How we actually solve them. So let us see that next. How do we get the LCM of 2 or more numbers? I'll be explaining that to you now, and then we'll solve a question to demonstrate the explanation. On the board here, we have the procedure written. To find the LCM, that's lowest common multiple of 2 or more numbers, all you need to do is to divide these 2 or more numbers using a smallest number that can divide any one of these 2 or more numbers. Suppose that smallest number cannot divide any one of these numbers. All you have to do is to bring down the number that cannot be divided. Continue bringing it down until you get a number that can divide it. Once you've done that, if each of the columns of the number whose LCM you are looking for, if each of the columns gets to 1, then you can stop. It means you've concluded your division. How do you now get your LCM? Finally, multiply all the numbers used in dividing to get the LCM. So that is what this short note is explaining. Is that okay? You can read through it. I have a question here I'm going to use in demonstrating what this note is talking about. We have to find the LCM of 2 and 3. Remember, we already stated that the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6 when I used 2 times table and 3 times table to check it. But I told you that is not the best way of finding the LCM of 2 or more numbers. So let us see how we solve this question. Find the LCM of 2 and 3. Solution. What I will do is to create 2 columns because there are 2 numbers whose LCM I am to get. 2 and then 3. These are the two columns, one for 2, the other for 3. Then I will start dividing this. I will pick a smallest number that can divide any of these numbers. So we have these numbers here. Okay, so which number will I pick that can divide either 2 or 3? But remember, the number you are to pick is the smallest number. Now, this is what you should know. We usually start by checking if 2 can divide the numbers whose LCM we are looking for. We always start by testing using 2. So I will come here and ask myself, can 2 divide any one of these numbers? And the answer is yes. 2 can divide 2. Remember the rules of divisibility. Or you think of multiplication table of 2, you know that 2 times 1 will give you 2. So if you do 2 divided by 2, it will give you 1. So I will use 2 to divide. I'm using blue marker to show the numbers I'm using to divide. If these 2 divide 2, it will give us 1. Can 2 divide this 3? 2 cannot divide 3. Again, the rules of divisibility, or you check from 2 times table. Can you multiply 2 by any number to get 3? No. Now there is something we have here. Any of these numbers which cannot be divided by the smallest number used in dividing, bring it down continuously until it can be divided. So here these 2 cannot divide this 3. So what will I do? I'll bring down the 3. Bring it down. Okay, now you notice that this column, look at this column of 2 has reached 1. So this one has finished its division. Are you getting? You move on again. This one has not gotten to 1. So you have to divide this. Can I use 2 to divide again? Can 2 divide this number here? No. Remember I told you this one has reached 1 already. So you are done with this column. 2 cannot divide 3. So you forget about 2 now. You move on to the next higher number, which is 3. Check if 3 can divide this 3. And yes, 3 can divide 3. So it's 3 I'm going to use now. This is already 1, so you can bring it down if you want. Okay, because this has finished its division. So you can bring down the 1. Or you say 3 into 1. 3 cannot divide 1, so you bring it down. Okay, come to this. 3 can divide 3, and it will give you what? 1. So you see, you have reached 1, 1 in each column. We have a statement here that said, stop dividing when each column of these numbers gives 1. You see that each of the columns has given us what? 1. So we can now stop and get our LCM. I'll conclude therefore, LCM of 2 and 3 is equal to, finally, multiply all the numbers used in dividing to get the LCM. So these are the numbers I used in dividing 2 and 3. So I'll multiply them. 2 times 3. And if you do 2 times 2, what will be your answer? 6. 6. So this is the LCM of 2 and 3, just like we already explained previously. We are going to see more questions on how to get LCM of numbers. In this video, let us find the LCM of 8 and 12. We are going to be fast in solving this problem. Remember, the secret is very simple. Once you know how to do your division, then you don't have any problem with LCM. But to be able to handle division fast, you need the knowledge of what? Multiplication. Let us see how we solve this problem. Find the LCM of 8 and 12. So these are 2 numbers. It means I will create 2 columns. One for 8, the other for 12. This is what we mean by columns, alright? 2 straight lines coming down here gives us column. Alright, looking at this, what's the smallest number that can divide any of these 2 numbers here? We have 8 and 12. The smallest number that can go, 2, can divide. So let us use 2 to divide. If 2 cannot divide 8 and 2 cannot divide 12, you won't use 2. Take note. If 2 cannot divide any one of these, then you cannot use 2. It means you now have to check if 3 can divide it. But good enough, 2 can divide here. So we go. 2 can divide 8, you get 4. 2 can divide 12, you get 6. Again, look at these 2 numbers. Can 2 still divide? Yes, 2 can still divide. 2 can divide 4, you get 2. 2 can divide 6, you get 3. Okay, so we come to this now. We have 2 and 3. Can 2 divide again? Yes. 2 can divide this number 2 here. If 2 divides 2, you are going to get 1. Alright, then this 3. Can 2 divide 3? No. 2 cannot divide 3. Therefore, I'm going to bring down these 3. Okay, now, can 2 still go here? No, 2 can no longer go. Look at this. This is 1 already, so this column has reached its end. You're now left with this. 2 cannot divide 3. So forget about 2 now and check for the next bigger number, which is 3. I will check, can 3 divide any number here? Yes, 3 can divide 3, so I will use 3 to go. Remember that this column of 8 has reached 1, so we'll still just bring down 1 if we want. If I don't want, I can just leave it 1 like that, okay? Move on to this, 3. 3 can divide 3 and we'll get what? 1. So you see, you've gotten 1 in each column. So you stop and conclude. Therefore, LCM, the LCM of 8 and 12. Now what we have to do is to multiply. Let me put equal to here. We're going to multiply the numbers I used in dividing. And the numbers I used in dividing are 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. These are the numbers that I used in dividing. So let us find out. 2 times 2 will give us what? 4. Alright, then 2 times 3 will give us 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Or you can say 2 times 2 is 4 rather. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay? This is equal to 24. Therefore, the LCM of 8 and 12 is 24. And that is our answer. We will solve yet another question that will not just come straightforward like this. Maybe it will make the statement a bit tough. That's the next question we are going to look at.